It's the Newport This Week video podcast series. Every week, you'll find a new episode at newportthisweek.com. And be sure to subscribe to the Newport This Week YouTube channel. You'll find this and other great digital content from Newport This Week. I'm Bill Bartholomew. And guess what? If you haven't heard, there's an election tomorrow. And with that comes all kinds of tributary stories, obviously, the election itself. But there's something that caught a lot of people's eyes and attention, which is the Boys and Girls Club and a really, I think it's beautiful, a beautiful cover on of Newport This Week, this week's edition. The question: if I were president, and youth who are participants in the work that the Boys and Girls Club do answer these questions, and it gives you a sense of, number one, optimism, and sort of puts a smile on your face in a moment which is, quite frankly, anything but a chance to sit back and relax. But also, it reminds, I think, voters, and it reminds all of us who we are moving the ball forward for. Um, to associate the human being with the voice and face, let's do some introductions. Deidre, if you want to introduce yourself first.
Hi, I'm Deirdre Murphy. I'm the Director of Development for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Newport County.
And Mike.
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Michael. I'm the Director of Operations and Member Experience for the Boys and Girls Clubs of Newport County as well.
So I want to expand this out to a conversation on the nature of relevant programming for youth, because you think of the Boys and Girls Club, you think of a lot of different things, of course, kind of a recreational mindset, and that's such a critical part of so many communities around the country, but including Newport County. But in this instance, here you have really relevant programming geared towards youth that reflects the actual moment that we're living in. I don't know who wants to answer this first, but I'd love to hear from both of you. What inspired this sort of conversation to take place in the organization?
Well, everything we do, Bill, goes toward fulfilling our mission, which is to inspire and enable all young people, especially those who need us most, to realize their full potential as responsible, caring, and productive citizens. And to this end, we present a multitude of programs that address the focus areas of academics, character and leadership, and healthy lifestyles.
Hmm.
A safe space is paramount for our kids to feel safe when they come here, and parents to send them to take advantage of all of that, of all of which we have to offer. And what we have to offer, I'll let Mike delve more into the details. But when I started 5 or 6 years ago, I remember it was Mike, in fact, who had said to me, we don't just provide activities, we provide programs, and the programs have impact. And so with that, I'll let Mike discuss what we offer.
Thank you, Deirdre. And what I'd like to share is that our organization, Boys and Girls Clubs specifically, we have our core program areas, our tenets that have stood the test of time, that don't change. Safe space, as Deirdre was saying, adults that care. But at the same time, we try to be very adaptable. When there are things that are happening in society, we want to address them with our kids. So we're not just, sticking to the things that we've always done. It takes a lot of creativity to figure out, okay, there's an election going on. How do we get the kids involved? What are some activities or long-term projects or programs that we can run to help them learn and take something away from it? So that's something that we try to do in all of our programmings. It's what's happening currently, what's happening in the news, what's happening in the community, what's happening in the world, and how can we make this a teachable moment for all of our kids.
Hmm. And kids are smart, and kids are smarter than ever because they have access to the internet, and they have access to their devices that, not just internet from a Google standpoint, but from an interconnectivity standpoint with chats and so on and so forth. Young kids are more connected than ever. So the opportunity for them to make sense of their world is so important. On this specific conversation, which anyone who hasn't seen it yet, go pick up a copy of the paper. If you pick up one copy of the paper this year, this is the one, because it just is so inspiring. But were you surprised by any of these responses, and both from the standpoint of optimism, but also from the standpoint of connectivity to the reality that we're all kind of working through right now?
You could see that by the variety of responses that we got, and even the ones that we didn't publish, you have, the the cute, fun ones, like sending everyone to outer space. And then you have the well-connected ones, the realistic responses of helping the homeless. In fact, there were several kids who responded with, various ways to help the homeless. Another one touched on women's rights. And yeah, the variety was great, and it reflects where they are, but it also shows that they're listening.
Yeah, Mike,
Yeah.
in that same breath, they're listening. That puts a lot of emphasis on your role. It puts a lot of emphasis on educators' role, obviously families' role in sculpting and directing, helping to make sense of the world. It's one thing to take in the world around you, which is now happening in a way that's unprecedented, but to make sense of it. What role do you play and organizationally does the Boys and Girls Club play in helping kids make sense of the world around them?
Yeah, I think to me, the first thing that stands out is relationships, having positive relationships with kids who might need a positive role model in their life. So for me, it's being a positive example. The way that the staff walk through the building, engage the kids, talk to them, ask them how their day was, and it's not, these textbook questions. It's really getting to know the kids and see where they are. You had asked earlier. I was very surprised by a lot of these responses. I mean, it does show you that they're connected. It does show you that they want to learn. I've been working with kids for a long time, and they still they amaze me every day with some of the things that they say. And it just lets you know that they're not, for us as youth development professionals, they're not just coming in and receiving our programs, receiving our warm meals, and then going home. There's a lot more to it than just the historical thought that we were just a gym in a pool. Our relationships with our kids and our programming is, I think, what sets us apart.
Absolutely. It's something that if you take a look at Governor McKee right now, he obviously has background in Boys and Girls Club himself, but specifically with his Learn 365 program, really trying to incorporate, whether it's through municipal learning centers or organizations such as your own, really expanding on this idea that learning takes place in a holistic context. It's, yes, obviously fundamental education is important. School days are important, but that's only a piece of the puzzle. What you all are doing is as important as anything else. And I agree that the perception may have been that this is more Boys and Girls Club, whatever other after school or parallel to school exoscholastic programs are out there, sometimes aren't viewed in the same breath as primary education. I mean, in this current world, how do you meet the moment of super serving youth and quite frankly, the world as a whole? That's a lot of pressure. How do you handle that?
Mike, I'll let you handle that because you are in direct contact with the kids. But I do have to say that our staff they keep relevant. They keep informed about what's going on. They are constantly going through trainings. Um, they're wonderful. We have a wonderful staff who really care and do put a lot into these kids and support them. Yeah, Mike.
Oh, Mike, I think you're muted. Yep.
Yes. Thank you, Bill. Thank you for saying that and for recognizing what we do. I really believe is just as important as what happens in the schools. Now, when I talk to our teams, it's, we're not in competition with the schools. We're here to support them. How can we support them? The schools can't do everything. What can we provide them that they're not really getting in schools? If you think about it, we're open every day. Schools are open. We're open when the schools are closed, during holiday breaks. We're open. We have kids during the summer. So I believe we see the kids just as much, if not a little bit more, than the teachers see them in the school. So to us, it's a wonderful opportunity to be able to guide and inspire these kids to be successful. We spend a lot of time with them. And you have to be engaged. It's really awesome what we get to do, to be honest.
Yeah. It has such a huge impact on communities. And it's something that the more people learn about the work you're doing, it's kind of obvious that you play a role that is parallel to the school day and parallel to youth sports or youth arts or anything else. We have to start looking at education holistically, and you're such a huge part of that. Proof is right there. Example number one on the cover of Newport this week. Really inspiring, as someone who's been covering this election every day for the last, I don't know how many months, years. Sometimes, I've literally thought about, should I become like a sustainable farmer in Brazil and disappear? That's how down it's gotten me every day. And when I see, when you're reminded, no, stick with it, because there's generations coming that need that depend on us, and it's not only going to happen in a schoolroom, school classroom. It's going to happen on a community level, and your community leaders. And I thank you for what you've done, because it changes lives, not only the kids, but the community as a whole becomes stronger, better, and more connected because of your work. So thank you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
too, Bill. Thank you.
Thank you for giving us this time.